Morgan Rogers to Man United? Analyzing the potential £69.5 million transfer. Ever wondered who might be the next big signing at Old Trafford? Recent reports suggest Manchester United are eyeing Aston Villa's rising star Morgan Rogers with a massive £69.5 million bid in the works. Let's dive into who Rogers is, what he brings to the table, and whether this move makes sense for the Red Devils. Who is Morgan Rogers? Morgan Rogers has quickly become one of the Premier League's most exciting young talents. The 22-year-old attacking midfielder joined Aston Villa in February 2024 for what now looks like a bargain price of £8 million, potentially rising to £15 million with the Dons. Since then, he's made a huge impact at Villa Park. Born on July 26, 2002, in Hales Owen, Rogers began his football journey at West Bromwich Albion's academy at just 7 years old. Interestingly, he was a childhood West Brom fan, showing his local roots in the West Midlands. His path to Premier League stardom wasn't straight and simple. After leaving West Brom, Rogers signed for Manchester City in August 2019. However, like many young talents at City, he found regular first-team opportunities limited. This led to loan spells at Lincoln City, Bournemouth, and Blackpool before he found a more permanent home at Middlesbrough in July 2023. It was at Middlesbrough where Rogers began to truly shine. He was particularly impressive during their run to the EFL Cup semi-finals, finishing as the competition's top scorer. His performances caught the eye of Aston Villa, who brought him to the Premier League. What makes Rogers special? So why are Manchester United reportedly willing to spend nearly £70 million on Rogers? The numbers speak for themselves. 14 goals and 12 assists this season alone. But it's not just about statistics. Rogers brings several key qualities. 1. Versatility. He can play as a number 10, winger, striker, or attacking midfielder, giving managers plenty of options. 2. Physical strength. Despite his young age, Rogers has the physical presence to handle the demands of Premier League football. 3. Attacking runs. His ability to make powerful, direct runs causes nightmares for defenders. 4. Ball control. Some have suggested Rogers has one of, if not the best ball control in the league. 5. Work ethic. Rogers complements his technical skills with a willingness to work hard for the team. Many pundits have drawn comparisons between Rogers and some elite talents. His strength on the ball and dangerous runs have been likened to players like Jamal Musiala, Ronaldo, and even former United legend Wayne Rooney. That last comparison will certainly excite United fans. Recent highlights. Rogers has been making headlines with some outstanding performances in recent months. He scored his first goal for Aston Villa in April 2024 in a 3-3 draw against Brentford. Perhaps his most memorable moment came in January 2025, when he netted a hat-trick in the Champions League against Celtic, including 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. This impressive feat made him the second youngest English player to score a hat-trick in the competition. Most recently, on April 10, 2025, Rogers scored Aston Villa's only goal in their 3-1 loss to Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League quarter-final first leg, proving he can deliver on the biggest stages. His performances haven't gone unnoticed at international level either. After representing England at every youth level, Rogers earned his first senior cap for England on November 14, 2024, coming on as a substitute in a 3-0 victory against Greece in the UEFA Nations League. The proposed transfer. According to reports, Manchester United are preparing an €80 million, £69.5 million, bid for Rogers. This represents a huge profit for Aston Villa, who only signed him for a maximum of £15 million in early 2024. Interestingly, Manchester City would also benefit from this deal due to a 25% sell-on clause they included when selling Rogers to Middlesbrough. This means City could receive around £17 million if the transfer goes through at the reported price. However, the reports also suggest Manchester City themselves might be interested in bringing Rogers back to the Etihad. Could we see a bidding war between the Manchester rivals? Would Aston Villa sell? The big question is whether Aston Villa would be willing to part with one of their star players. Under Unai Emery, Villa have been building an impressive project, qualifying for the Champions League and making significant progress in the competition this season. Villa are looking to establish themselves as regular Champions League contenders, and selling key players like Rodgers would seem to go against this ambition. However, every club has its price, and a £69.5 million offer for a player they bought for much less might be too tempting to refuse. From Villa's perspective, such a deal could fund multiple new signings to strengthen their squad overall, but losing Rodgers' creativity and goal threat would be a significant blow. Would Rodgers fit at Manchester United? Now to the million-pound question. Would Rodgers be a good fit at Old Trafford? Manchester United have been crying out for more creativity and cutting edge in attack. Rodgers' ability to play across the front line would give United flexibility in their attacking options. His direct running style and physical presence seem well suited to Premier League football, and his goal contribution numbers suggest he could add the end product United have sometimes lacked. At just 22, Rodgers also fits United's recent transfer strategy of investing in young talent with potential to grow and increase in value. But where would he fit in United's current setup? As a versatile attacker, Rodgers could potentially play on either wing or behind the striker. This versatility would be valuable for squad rotation and tactical flexibility. Is he worth £69.5 million? This is perhaps the toughest question to answer. On one hand, £69.5 million is a huge sum for a player with relatively limited Premier League experience. Rodgers has only been a Premier League player since February 2024, and while he's impressed, he doesn't have years of top-flight consistency behind him. On the other hand, the transfer market for young, English talent has been inflated for years. Rodgers' combination of youth, potential, proven goal contributions, and English nationality makes him exactly the type of player who commands premium fees in today's market. When you consider that Rodgers has 26 goal contributions this season and is only likely to improve as he gains more experience, the fee begins to look more reasonable. If he continues on his current trajectory, he could become one of the Premier League's standout players for years to come. What do the fans think? United fans have been vocal on social media about the potential signing. Some are excited by Rodgers' potential and see him as exactly the type of dynamic, creative player the team needs. Others worry about the price tag and question whether the money might be better spent addressing other areas of the squad. Villa fans, understandably, are hoping their club resists any offers. Rodgers has quickly become a fan favorite at Villa Park, and supporters are eager to see him continue his development with them rather than strengthening a direct rival. Would Rodgers want the move? Another important factor is whether Rodgers himself would be keen on a move to Old Trafford. The article notes that he was a childhood West Bromwich Albion fan, not a Manchester United supporter. However, United remain one of the biggest clubs in world football despite their recent struggles. The chance to play for such a historic institution, with its global fanbase and marketing reach, could be appealing to any young player. United also have a strong track record of developing young talent, which might be attractive to a player like Rodgers who is still early in his career. The opportunity to follow in the footsteps of legends like Wayne Rooney, to whom he's been compared, might be hard to resist. Questions to consider. As we wait to see if this transfer materializes, here are some key questions to think about. 1. Would Rodgers be a better fit at United or City if both clubs come calling? 2. How would Villa replace Rodgers if they decided to sell? 3. Could United negotiate a lower fee, or will Villa hold firm on their valuation? 4. Where would Rodgers fit in United's current squad, and who might lose their place? 5. Is this the type of signing United should be prioritizing, or are there more pressing needs elsewhere in the squad? Looking ahead, the summer transfer window promises to be an exciting one for Manchester United fans. After a season of ups and downs, significant reinforcements are expected. Whether Morgan Rodgers will be one of those new arrivals remains to be seen. The reported £69.5 million bid would make him one of United's most expensive signings ever, reflecting both his potential and the premium placed on young English talent. What's clear is that Rodgers has all the attributes to become a top Premier League player. His combination of physical strength, technical ability, and end product is rare, especially in a player so young. For Villa, The challenge will be holding onto their rising star or securing a fee that truly reflects his value and potential. For United, the question is whether Rodgers represents the best use of their transfer budget in a summer where multiple positions may need strengthening. Whatever happens, Rodgers is a name that Premier League fans should get used to hearing. Whether at Villa, United, or elsewhere, this is a talent that looks set to light up English football for years to come. What do you think, United fans? Would Morgan Rodgers be a good signing for the club? Is he worth the reported £69.5 million fee? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Final thoughts. The Morgan Rodgers saga could become one of the summer's biggest transfer stories. With both Manchester clubs reportedly interested, Aston Villa have a decision to make about a player who has quickly become central to their plans. For United, signing Rodgers would be a statement of intent. It would show they're willing to invest heavily in exciting young talent as they look to return to the summit of English and European football. For Rodgers himself, this summer could represent a career-defining moment. Stay at Villa and continue to develop as a big fish in a growing pond? Or take the leap to one of the Manchester Giants and test himself under an even brighter spotlight? Whatever happens, we'll be covering all the developments right here at United News. Stay tuned for updates as this story develops. Rashford's Villa future. Will United loanee make permanent switch? Could Marcus Rashford have played his last game for Manchester United? Recent reports suggest the England international might be making his loan move to Aston Villa permanent this summer. With both Unai Emery and Villa's hierarchy reportedly keen on the deal, let's take a deep dive into this developing transfer story, what it means for all parties involved, and whether this move makes sense for the player and clubs. The loan move. How did we get here? Cast your mind back to January. Marcus Rashford, once the golden boy of Manchester United, found himself repeatedly left out of matchday squads under new manager Ruben Amorim. The Portuguese boss didn't hide his reasons, often pointing to Rashford's attitude and application in training when explaining these decisions. As the January transfer window approached, it became clear that Rashford needed a fresh start. After interest from several European giants came and went, Aston Villa emerged as his destination. The move came at the perfect time for Villa, who had just sold Johan Duran to the Saudi Pro League and were looking for reinforcements. Villa manager Unai Emery personally pushed for the signing, bringing in both Rashford and Marco Asensio, on loan from PSG, to bolster his attacking options. Unlike the Asensio deal, Villa made sure to include an option to buy Rashford permanently for £40 million. Rashford's impact at Villa Park. Has the change of scenery helped Rashford rediscover his form? The early signs suggest yes. Since joining Villa, Rashford has contributed 8 goal involvements, scoring 3 goals and providing 5 assists. These numbers show a player who is finding his feet again after a difficult period at United. Alongside Asensio, who has scored 8 times for Villa, Rashford has helped strengthen an already impressive attacking lineup. The pair have lit up Villa Park, according to reports, suggesting Rashford is enjoying his football again. For Villa fans, these performances have raised an important question. Should the club make Rashford's move permanent? Villa's decision. What are they thinking? According to recent reports from The Sun, both Emery and Villa's decision-makers are in agreement. They want Rashford to stay beyond this season. Emery has reportedly told Villa Chiefs he's confident the Manchester United forward's head is in the right place and that signing him would help take the club to the next level. This is a significant vote of confidence from a manager who has already taken Villa to impressive heights. The club's hierarchy appears to have listened to their manager's assessment. Reports state that the Premier League side want to make the current loan arrangement they have with the England star a permanent switch. This unified stance suggests Villa see Rashford as an important piece of their ambitious project moving forward. Under Emery, Villa have become Champions League contenders, and adding established Premier League talent like Rashford could help them continue their upward trajectory. The financial side. Can Villa afford him? While Villa might be keen on the move, there are significant financial considerations to take into account. The £40 million option to buy is substantial but not outrageous in today's market for a player of Rashford's experience and potential. However, his wages present a bigger challenge. Rashford is understood to earn around £300,000 per week at Manchester United, a figure that would almost certainly make him Villa's highest-paid player by some distance. The Sun reports that the big issue will be Rashford's salary, but Villa hope he could be persuaded to take a drop in his wages in order to secure a move that will help resurrect his career with the club and England. This raises several questions. 1. Would Rashford be willing to take a significant pay cut to stay at Villa? 2. How much would Villa be prepared to offer him? 3. Could they structure a deal with bonuses based on performance and team success? The wage issue could be the biggest hurdle to any permanent deal. However, if Rashford is enjoying his football at Villa and believes it's the best place for his career development, he might be open to compromise. Competition for his signature. Villa might need to move quickly if they want to secure Rashford's services. French publication L'Equipe has claimed that Paris Saint-Germain are once again interested in signing the England international. PSG, with their significant financial resources, could offer Rashford a salary closer to his current Manchester United wage. They've previously shown interest in the forward, and with Kylian Mbappe's future uncertain, they may be on the lookout for attacking reinforcements. The presence of other suitors could force Villa's hand. While they might hope to negotiate a lower fee than the £40 million option, competition from clubs like PSG might prompt them to bite the bullet and pay full price to avoid missing out. Is Rashford the right fit for Villa? Despite Rashford's promising start at Villa and the club's apparent eagerness to sign him permanently, not everyone is convinced it would be the right move. Former England goalkeeper Ben Foster has expressed doubts about Rashford's suitability for Emery's system, particularly when deployed as a lone striker. Speaking on his Fozcast podcast, Foster said, "I don't know if Rashford is going to be the answer. When he came on in the Nottingham Forest game the other day, they were 2-0 up at the time, and I was thinking, what would Rashford's objectives be here?" Foster continued, "I think when Emery brought him on, he would have said, 'Right, Marcus, we're 2-0 up and Forest had some good chances in that first half. I'm going to need you to get hold of the ball for me. I'm going to need you to try and get it down and get us up the pitch.' There were a couple of times where they went long to him, and he was not willing to stick his head up there. He's not willing to get hurt physically, and the ball just came back." These comments highlight a potential concern about Rashford's all-round game. While his pace, direct running, and finishing ability are clear strengths, questions remain about his ability to hold up play and provide the physical presence sometimes needed from a forward in Emery's system. Rashford's perspective. What makes sense for his career? Putting ourselves in Rashford's shoes, what would a permanent move to Villa mean for his career? At 26 years old, Rashford should be entering his prime years as a footballer. After a difficult period at United, he appears to be rediscovering his form and confidence at Villa. A fresh start away from the intense scrutiny at Old Trafford could be exactly what he needs. Villa's trajectory under Emery is impressive. They're competing in European competitions and challenging the traditional Big Six in the Premier League. For Rashford, being part of this exciting project could be appealing. There's also the England factor to consider. Rashford has been out of the international picture recently, but consistent performances at Villa could put him back in contention. The Sun article notes that Villa hope Rashford could be persuaded to take a drop in his wages in order to secure a move that will help resurrect his career with the club and England. On the flip side, Rashford has been at Manchester United since he was a child. Leaving his boyhood club permanently would be a significant decision. There might also be a part of him that believes he can still turn things around at United and reclaim his place in the team. What would this mean for Manchester United? From United's perspective, a £40 million fee for Rashford would represent decent business for a player who has struggled for consistency in recent seasons. While it would mean losing a homegrown talent who has been with the club since the age of 7, it would free up significant space on the wage bill. Rashford's reported £300,000 per week salary could be redirected to new signings or contract renewals for other key players. There's also the question of Ruben Amorim's long-term plans. If the manager doesn't see Rashford as part of his vision for the team, it might be best for all parties to make a clean break. United fans would likely have mixed feelings about seeing Rashford leave permanently. He's provided many memorable moments for the club and, at his best, has been one of their most exciting players. However, His form and commitment have been questioned in recent times, and some fans might feel it's time for a fresh start on both sides. The bigger picture, Villa's ambitions. Aston Villa's interest in making Rashford's move permanent speaks to their growing ambitions under Emery. Once fighting relegation battles, they're now looking to establish themselves as regular Champions League contenders. Signing players of Rashford's profile, England internationals from Big Six clubs, sends a message about where Villa see themselves in the Premier League hierarchy. It shows they're not content with simply competing. They want to be considered among the elite. Villa's recruitment strategy has been impressive in recent years. They've combined smart signings from abroad with proven Premier League talent. Adding Rashford to that mix on a permanent basis would continue this approach. The question is whether they can make the financial side work. Can they convince Rashford to reduce his salary demands? Will they activate the £40 million option or try to negotiate a lower fee with United? These decisions will be crucial in determining whether the deal happens. What would a permanent move mean for Rashford's legacy? Rashford's story at Manchester United has been something of a fairy tale. The local boy who came through the academy to become a first-team star. His impact extends beyond the pitch, with his campaigning on child food poverty earning him widespread respect. If he were to leave permanently, how would it affect his United legacy? Some might see it as a sad end to what promised to be a long and successful United career. Others might remember the good times, the debut goals, the big game performances, the passion he showed for the club. Perhaps the most likely outcome is that time would heal any wounds. Many players have left United and later been remembered fondly for their contributions rather than the manner of their departure. For Rashford himself, creating a new legacy at Villa could be an exciting challenge. Being part of the team that establishes Villa as a top four regular or wins a major trophy would secure his place in their history too. Questions to consider. As we follow this developing story, here are some key questions to keep in mind. 1. Is £40 million a fair price for Rashford in the current market? 2. Would Rashford be willing to take a significant pay cut to join Villa permanently? 3. How might PSG's interest affect Villa's approach to negotiations? 4. Is Ben Foster right to question whether Rashford is the right fit for Emery's system? 5. If Rashford stays at Villa, could he force his way back into England contention? 6. Would selling Rashford be the right decision for Manchester United? 7. How might Rashford's permanent departure affect United's own transfer plans this summer? 8. Could Villa negotiate a lower fee than the £40 million option? The road ahead. The summer transfer window is still months away, and a lot can change between now and then. Rashford's performances at Villa for the remainder of the season will likely influence the club's thinking. If he continues to impress, Villa's resolve to sign him permanently will only strengthen. United's stance might also evolve depending on their own recruitment plans. If they identify attacking targets who they believe would better suit Amorim's system, they might be more open to letting Rashford go permanently. For now, Rashford's focus should be on continuing to perform for Villa. Every goal and assist not only helps his current team but potentially increases his value, both to Villa and to other interested clubs. Final thoughts. The Marcus Rashford saga is shaping up to be one of the most interesting transfer stories of the upcoming summer window. A player once considered untouchable at Manchester United could be set for a permanent exit to a rising force in English football. For Villa, signing Rashford would be a statement of intent, proof that they can attract established stars from traditional powerhouses. For United, it would mark the end of an era but potentially the beginning of a new chapter under Amorim. And for Rashford himself, a permanent move to Villa could be the fresh start his career needs. Away from the intense spotlight at Old Trafford, he might rediscover the joy and freedom that made him such an exciting prospect when he first burst onto the scene. Whatever happens, we'll be covering all the developments right here at United News. Will Rashford become a Villa player permanently, or will he return to fight for his place at United? The coming months will tell us more, but one thing's for sure, this story is far from over. What do you think, United fans? Would selling Rashford be the right move? And Villa supporters, would you welcome him as a permanent signing? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.